Is she online?
Yes, she.
Oh, sorry, Chris. I don't get like the.
Okay.
Sorry. So why don't you go ahead and provide an update on the activities that are going on, now the nonprofit operations specifically, and any recent developments since our last meeting in August.
Absolutely. So I'm just pleased to share that. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, and I just would note Chris is from the Association of California Cities, Orange County. We refer to that as ACCOC. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. So for everyone's benefit, I'm pleased to share that the nonprofit board has assembled, had its first meeting. The members of that is shared. Councilwoman Lydia, that you are a member of that. I stand as a founder of the task force. Also, the Honorable Valerie Russell, Mayor of Barcelona, Stephanie Hawkinson, Mayor of Fargo. Nick Cannon, representing Supervisor Katrina Cole, was the candidate of the 5th District, and Alan Nelson, who is our citizen representative as a parent of a son who was tragically killed in a facility within Orange County. And the board will meet to oversee finances, to conduct audits, to provide high-level oversight. ACCOC will assist in that capacity from an administrative standpoint. We are in the final stages of setting up the bank account, and we'll be able to start receiving income for the task force to fund its activities shortly. So with that, short and sweet, but all good news, and everything's going to.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. And appreciate the Association of California Cities for stepping up and being the administrator of this. It's so valuable, and I know that you also recently stepped up for OCOG. So just really appreciate your willingness to make sure that Orange County is served well and on the right track. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a special guest speaker today. And I'm so pleased to introduce our special guest speaker, which is Dan Kreitman. And please correct me if I did.
We're going to go with Kreitman. We'll go with Kreitman.
Do you like that? Okay.
That's perfect.
Kreitman, Program Director, who is responsible for the oversight of the Healthcare Fraud Prevention Partnership, because we love initials, HFPP. It's a voluntary public-private partnership between the federal government, state agencies, law enforcement, private health insurance plans, and healthcare anti-fraud associations. So this is it's aimed at detecting and preventing healthcare fraud through data and information sharing. And as you know, we have been really focused on looking at data and understanding data because that is very valuable when it comes to legislation. So prior to this role, Dan served as the Director of Special Investigations in the Compliance Division at Centene Corporation, Centene, where he oversaw investigations into alleged fraud, waste, and abuse, and ensured contractual compliance. He also developed large-scale special investigation units with an emphasis on Medicare and Medicaid operations. So this is a critically important perspective on healthcare fraud, and there's sections with our sober living homes and the care of those people in those homes. So we can't lose sight of what, as we consider and pursue various reforms. I really want to thank Dan for your time, for coming and be with us today, because your perspective is something that I think this year, and looking at insurance and those types of things, is going to be something that we can just dive a little bit further into. That we were very hyper-focused on legislation last year. We will be this year, but it was focused on neighborhoods and creating some things that would work for cities. But I think this is a very interesting perspective. So, Dan, if you would give us an overview or your profile.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Is somebody driving this presentation for me?
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, we can just go to page 2. That would be great. So good afternoon. Thank you to the Sober Living Task Force for this opportunity to join me today. My name is Dan Kreitman, and I do serve as the Director of the Healthcare Fraud Prevention Partnership, or the HFPP. I'm in government work, I should talk acronyms all day. But we'll go with the HFPP. And what we do, again, is we're a national public-private partnership. We're led by CMS in Health and Human Services. And we bring together over 300 organizations across the government, law enforcement, and the private sector, all focused on one mission: to find healthcare fraud faster and to stop it earlier. Before this role, I did lead the Special Investigations Unit or CENT team, more specifically in California, HealthNet, where I helped build one of the first payer-led task forces in California that was targeting substance abuse disorder and behavioral health fraud. That experience taught me two things. One, there are some good people that are working in this space that are mission-driven. Unfortunately, two, the bad actors really do undo the enormous progress that the few good actors do. And that's really what brings us together to talk about how we can align our efforts to fight SUD fraud in California, especially around body brokering, intensive outpatient therapy fraud, and lab abuse, and how nationally collaboration through the HFPP can help us stay ahead of these threats. So we go to next slide. So across the country, SUD-related fraud is grown into one of the most profitable forms of healthcare crimes. Patients are recruited like commodities. Everybody here knows they're trash getting across state lines. They're cycled through programs that prioritize billing over recovery. California, with its large treatment ecosystem and strong insurance coverage, they become a target market for these themes. This recent cases include a $175,000 body brokering indictment in Orange County, $29 million eliminating kickback and recovery act conviction, and a Casabella International case involving falsifying insurance and interstate trafficking. So we look at body brokering. It's one of these outreaching coordination, but it's really trafficking in human vulnerability. Brokers disguise kickbacks as marketing and consulting fees, moving patients between programs to keep billing cycles going. It's illegal, it's very unethical, and it's deeply harmful, exploiting people at their lowest points. This was actually one of the early areas of how we looked at this situation in the California market, because so many body brokers were bringing in beneficiaries from outside of the state of California during special enrollment periods. And we know that special enrollment periods are usually not getting a lot of activity through those periods, especially out of state activity. And that was one of the early indications that we really did have a problem, especially in the California area. And again, why we continue to see a homeless problem that is really plaguing California. Next slide. So why does this persist? Really, healthcare fraud drives in the shadows. Data silos, inconsistent oversight, complex referral chains, patient vulnerability. By the time these patterns really appear in claim systems, tens of millions are already gone. So the answer isn't really just enforcement. What I believe the answer is prevention, connecting those dots early before that harm occurs. So what we're trying to do in this government program with the HFPP is we're trying to bring different data sets together. So we bring multitudes of data. We bring private payer, we bring state Medicaid data, we bring in the CMS Medicare data, and we look at that across all different types of payers and see what kind of activities occurring across the complexity of the claim. Next slide. So really, for me, prevention starts with coordination. We can really strengthen integrity through what I consider these 5 actions. Data and intelligence sharing. We already are seeing those early warning signs, cross-payer data analytics. We're developing dashboards, cross-sector task forces, like payers, DHCS, DOJ, counties, cities working together. And that also includes the government as well. Transparency and accreditation. I've been kind of beating my chest to anybody that will listen to me around accreditation. What we consider accreditation now is not accreditation, it's buying a title. So really having that ethics in sober living providers, legislative support, what you all are trying to do, strengthen oversight, and then really consumer education. Train families to spot fraudulent programs. I've been in this situation. I know what it's like to have a family member that is at the lowest of lows and you don't know what to do with them and you are ready to just do anything. And when you have these programs come into your lives, they really do look and feel like they're the Cadillac of recovery programs. We know that's not true, but especially when you're in a different space in your mind, you're not really thinking about those. You're not thinking about what those accreditations really are or what they look like, or you're not thinking about how much this really does cost. So it's just some things to consider. Next slide. So just a little bit more about the HFPP, which I direct. This was established and overseen, established by Congress and overseen, and is overseen by CMS. We bring together over 310 partners. These are agencies, law enforcement, payers, and we share that data and intelligence securely. My team, we manage over 90 billion claims, and we identify billions in potential fraud annually. In 2023, 2024, our report to Congress, our partners, we conducted 22 studies. We issued over 1,200 reports to our partners. We identified over $62 million in recovery and avoidances. We opened up 338 cases, and we revoked 35 providers. We also published 287 alerts, and we hosted 253 national collaboration events. So one of our focus areas directly aligned with your mission: sober living, SUD fraud, IOP billing and abuse, and laboratory overutilization. And now using ML AI, we are shifting from that pay and chase method to that detect and prevent method, to where we're not chasing dollars out the door. Next slide. So how can we work together? So this task force can lead the way in reform and oversight. And here's how. We can formalize collaboration among payers and state agencies, recovery housing leaders, and we can share intelligence on referral and billing trends. We can do things like develop accreditation programs for sober homes and IOPs that emphasize recovery outcomes over revenue. And we can pilot regional coordination hubs like modeled after national task force structures. And then we can launch a statewide awareness campaign like fraud, steals, recovery. And actually using the HFPP provides that national model. But really, in my opinion, the success has really got to be driven locally by California leaders and recovery advocates. Next page. So, just in closing, before I worked in healthcare, I was a law enforcement officer. I served on a federal narcotics task force, and we targeted high-level dealers, cartels, and clandestine laboratories. And we were focused on supply, arrest, and seizures. One of the things I never thought about was the human cost. The families, the children, the parents watching their loved ones fade away. And years later, leading this IOP fraud investigation in California, I got to meet those families, and I got to hear them tell me that if my insurance company hadn't kept paying these fraudulent programs, that their loved ones would still be alive. And that really does stick with me every day, because fraud, it's not just financial. It's about life and loss. And that's why accreditation matters. That's why we need sober homes and IOPs that heal and not harvest. And that's why we need programs that are built with purpose and transparency and heart. Because when we hold ourselves to that standard, integrity doesn't just protect dollars, it protects people. So thank you all for everything that you all do, for standing on the front lines of recovery and letting me be a part of this fight with you. And any questions I can answer or anything I can help you all do locally, I'm certainly here to support you.
Thank you. So thank you so much for sharing that your insight. The perspective really is invaluable as we consider the needed reforms and the task force initiatives. I do see some definite alignment here. Does anybody have any questions for?
We had a request for Dan's email address. Dan, if you're willing to share it with it.
I will put my contact information in the chat.
Thank you.
And then there's a recording of this meeting, so those slides will be available via that recording too, just so everybody knows. You can do that. Yes, go ahead, Lori.
Dan, will you talk a little bit about, you said you've been talking to DHCS about some things that they're doing or that you're hoping they'll work with you on. Will you just speak to that?
Yeah, so one of the areas that we're looking at is how we can develop more regional work groups. And one of the work groups that I'd like to focus on in the future is a work group in the California area that is absolutely focused on this issue. DHS would certainly be a part of that. They, the leader of DHCS, Bruce Ling, used to sit on our board of directors, and we've had some emails back and forth, but certainly, they would be a partner that we would reach out to, because I'm aware of more of the state issue in dealing with it on more of a local level from Health Net. I would know a lot of the other regional players that we would want to include in that as well.
Next. Any other questions? We have some people that just joined. Any questions? I know you probably just heard part of that, but you can always re-hear it after. It'll be up on the website. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to stay connected, and
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, my hand was up.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's all. Hi, my name is Whitney, and just for people who don't know me, I'm a survivor, and I'm also a policy advisor on other things. I work on land back and reparations in Santa Monica, but I've recently pushed this up. It's very important to me because I am a survivor. I kind of wanted to just take this opportunity to ask if Dan would be open to people, if you would be open to collaborating with survivors, because I'm actually extending a organization right now called National Patient Brokering Prevention Initiative. And I have a lot of the same goals that you were talking about. I want to disseminate warning signs nationally via public health networks and talk about, have pamphlets in every single public health space that's talking about what is body brokering, what are the warning signs. I want to build trust between victims and the FBI, but also between residents and the FBI, so that they feel comfortable talking and reporting things that they see. I would really like to start pilot training programs where I train officers that are on the ground, that are interacting with these victims all of the time. I feel like if they go into situations understanding that being called the cops on maybe multiple times a week is not normal, and that's something that they should be reporting to state agencies, things like that. Lobby for, I would really like the human trafficking law to be amended and changed. If just by changing that and including body brokering, we could allow so many more people to get services without actually having to worry about necessarily providing them those services on our end. And then obviously that prevention and detection. So I'm developing a model where police can actually go down a checklist and they can determine if a facility reaches a level of suspicion, and they should be reporting and asking more questions. And then the final thing, sorry, I'm a yapper, is I really want to host a national conference, kind of like you said, a hub where people can gather, public health experts, lawyers, scholars, And in my mind, holding this at a university would allow it to enter the young mind's psyche as well and allow them to start thinking about policy reform and all of that in this area. So I just wanted to announce that really quick. I've been kind of holding that back. But yeah, National Patient Brokered Prevention Initiative, Indigenous-led, survivor-led, and yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
Perfect. I'm certainly interested in hearing what you're put together. That's for sure.
Amazing. Thank you. I will email. Thank you.
Okay.
You got your email in there. We can get connection. Good. Thank you. Any other questions? So we got some legislative updates as well.
We did have one
Oh, excuse me.
question.
Yes.
It was explained the difference between Bruce Lim of DHCS audits and investigations who oversee medical government funds Title 22 laws versus Perez SUSD for private pay Title 9. I'm not sure if that works for you, Dan, or makes sense.
Can you?
Yeah, that doesn't.
Can you see that question?
He should be
Okay.
in here
Dan, can you see that question
in the chat.
in the chat?
So yeah, so I don't know about the Title 22 laws. I'm not for sure about that as far as government funds, but Bruce sat on our board of directors as the DHCS representative for HFPP, and he is obviously the one that leads audits and investigations.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, great.
Yeah, I'd say that would be the difference, is that Bruce's side is the investigative side, and the other side would be the analytics, corrective action.
Okay,
Great.
thank you. Okay,
Always two levels of oversight, multiple levels of oversight. One is a government. Government's supposed to have a couple of different levels of oversight, but you want to have a level from an investigative perspective, and you also want to have that level of oversight from a payment integrity perspective. Two different things, and just two different wheelhouses. So that's why we do that in the private payer world. We have a payment integrity group that handles most of the payment integrity work, anything around compliance issues, and then you have an investigative side that are basically investigative type folks that are looking for the fraud.
okay, thank you. And you're going to stay engaged in our group, and we are working on data gathering that is a little deeper from our all of our police services across the county and outside the county as people participate to try to gather data and also look at how data is gathered, and we can, because sometimes the sober living recovery homes are a separate entity in the police, as we've learned over the past year or two. And so just looking at making sure that's separated out so that we can really get good data. We're trying to spread the word in that way too to our law enforcement professionals across our county and counties, frankly, because now we've got we got Los Angeles joining us, we've got Riverside joining us, as well as San Diego on this task force. So,
Great.
so that is
Yeah.
going to be good data sharing, I think.
Perfect. And data is gold. That's how we solve this problem.
That's how we do the legislation. Right, Connor? Okay, well, speaking of legislation, let's do some updates. So we do have some updates from some of our legislative representatives. So we'll begin. Is Daniel on the line with the Office of Assembly Member Lori Davies?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, sorry, I'm here.
Okay, Daniel, will you give us...
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Daniel. I'm the legislative assistant for Assemblywoman Lori Davies. We cover South Orange County as well as North County, San Diego. So we have an exciting update. We authored, in partnership with the wonderful team at Cal Cities, AB 424 this year. And we are happy to report that it was signed into law by the governor. So, woohoo! The bill is honestly a huge win across the state for transparency, especially with regards to substance abuse treatment. So what it will do is require the Department of Healthcare Services to provide someone who made a complaint about an alcohol or drug recovery treatment facility with a notice of receipt within 10 days. So basically, if you make a complaint, you have a bad experience in treatment, or the treatment facility near your neighborhood, and you have a complaint there, DHCS will be required to let you know that they received the complaint within 10 days. And then they will also be required to let you know when the investigation has concluded, and will also include their findings to the complainant. So again, we just think this is a huge win for transparency overall across the state, and we are excited to continue working on this topic. So yeah, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions too. Thank you.
Any questions? And also, that was also sponsored by the Cal Cities. So,
Yes.
yeah, so that, I saw that post today on social media, so I did share that. So, and by the way, anybody on here, follow Cal Cities because they've been engaged in this process. And if you see a post on this issue, share it on your pages. It's, this is how we spread the word about progress we're making, which gets hope to people who weren't hopeful 2 years ago when we didn't get anything back. So then, okay, we're going to be speaking of California League of Cities. We have Carolyn online,
And real quick, Daniel, if you're able to address this question, we had a couple questions in the chat.
Totally.
Findings there. I'm not sure if that's
Yeah, I was actually just typing out a response. But so as far as I understand it from how we authored the bill, the findings will not be redacted when they go to the complainant. I imagine there are going to be some exceptions if it's like, they're not legally allowed to give certain types of information. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing in it about redacting any information, so it should be a completely transparent process for the complainant.
good. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Okay, next up we have Carolyn with the California League of Cities.
if it's Katie before us.
Oh, Katie? Sorry, I have it in a different order.
Yeah.
Okay, Katie from Assemblyman Avelino Valencia, please share your update.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I'm also excited to announce that Assemblymember Valencia's bill, AB 492, was signed by the governor last week. As you may be familiar with, AB 492 requires the Department of Healthcare Services to notify cities and counties when they approve a new license for an alcohol or drug abuse recovery treatment facility. This will be really helpful for our local governments as it's really difficult, to track these facilities as they come online. And as we know, there will be more facilities that may open just due to the Prop 1 funding. It also builds on our work in this space. We worked with Cal Cities on this bill this year, but last year we also worked with Cal Cities on our bill 2574, which dealt with the financial relationships between a treatment facility and recovery homes. So we're really happy that we've had some success in the space this past 2 years. And we also just want to thank our cities, Cal City member, League of California City members, and the task force members that helped in submitting letters of support for AB 492. We're just glad to get this across the finish line.
Thank you so much. And please pass our thanks, both of you, please pass our thanks along to our representatives because we couldn't do it without them. We can provide the backup, but they got to carry that bill forward and advocate for us and your staff, all helping to make sure we're showing up at the right time, at the right place, with the right letters. Okay.
Bond.
And Carolyn? Or is that enough?
Carol.
Okay. Carolyn with now it's your turn with the California League Cities.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So great to be here to provide an update. Katie and Daniel really shared the most exciting news we have, which is that our two sponsored bills, AB 424 and AB 492, were signed by the governor. This is the second year in a row that we've had sponsored bills with Assemblymember Davies and Assemblymember Valencia get signed by the governor. So really thankful for that partnership with Katie and Daniel and the Assembly members for everything that they've done the last 2 years. We do have two other bills that we also sponsored this year that unfortunately didn't make it across the finish line. SB 35 and SB 392 both sought to implement timelines for when DHCS has to investigate complaints against licensed and unlicensed alcohol and drug treatment facilities. Those were held earlier in the year. We have been working, I think I saw Kim from Senator Blakespeare's office online. We have been working with DHCS to see where they are in implementing some changes in response to the audit from last year related to the timelines of their investigations. They've told us that some modifications and changes are expected this month. So we're anxiously awaiting to see what that might look like and look forward to working with Senator Blakespeare's office potentially again next year to make sure that those timelines are getting shorter and shorter. So there's still hope for those measures moving ahead next year. But that'll close up my update. Just thankful for all the cities online who submitted letters and yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Anything? And you mentioned Kim, our friend Kim, former council member at Huntington Beach, now serving with our Senator Blakespeare. Do you have any updates or anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback onto what Caroline said. We are going to hold DHCS accountable, and we are working with them to ensure that that bill does get signed next year. It sailed through both houses with no objections, but we did want to hear DHCS out on this particular bill. So it's similar to Assemblywoman Davies' bill in that it does require there to be a complaint assigned within 10 days and then the investigation wrapped up within 60 days. So we feel pretty confident that this will go forward next year, but we did give the agency the opportunity to work with our office, so we're going to hold them accountable. But I just really want to give a shout out to all of you guys, because with Cal Cities and with Kessler, I mean, last year, I think there were 12 or 13 bills introduced. I mean, that's huge, and 4 of them were signed. So Wendy, you and I know each other a long time. Thinking about when this all started and just getting people in Sacramento to even think about this topic. And it's really a testament to all of your hard work. So huge shout out to all of the folks in Orange County for doing what they do, and for Cal Cities for helping us get across the finish line.
Thank you so much, Kim. Appreciate it. And thanks for the, and I know you've got to do things the right way so that if you have an opportunity to have the agency or the department give input and it makes for a better bill, we get it. And so thanks for the tenacity, and we thank you to the senator to keep going, and we appreciate it. And I say it's because she has amazing staff members that understand cities that make these things work. So kudos to her for hiring good, smart people like Kim.
Thank you.
Okay, and we have a question. Yes, introduce yourself.
Hi, sorry we're a little late. My name is Lauren Nasaris. I'm the Vice Mayor of the City of La Mesa in San Diego County, and I also have Councilwoman Laura Lothian. We are our own subcommittee that we just formed in the City of La Mesa because we have a sober living facility that is wreaking havoc on one of our neighborhoods, and 19 others that aren't. Right, exactly. And so we're taking this very seriously. So this is for all of the folks who just gave a legislative update. How can we, as a city, help you get these bills passed besides co-sponsoring them? We co-sponsored a few of these. That's kind of newer for the City of La Mesa to be doing, but it's important to us. But beyond kind of co-sponsoring them and sending letters of support, how can we, as you start introducing bills for this next cycle, how can we help you from the start? What can we provide to each of you?
So I will let the legislative team members answer that, but I will tell you your participation on this task force, and you're welcome to come and sit up here whenever you're comfortable doing that, is key. And you can join us and participate on Zoom, as you can tell. You're just as important on Zoom as you are sitting around this table. But they will stay engaged. Stay engaged because we believe we are a force because of the people we have at the table. Because we have members that are from cities, from governmental entities, our sheriff, our law enforcement, all different kinds, whether it's Newport Beach, Costa Mesa, whether it's our Orange County Sheriff, district attorneys, lawyers, and we have the people who have actually suffered and we've had the people that have gone through recovery, whether successful, some have come out on the other side successful, but their journey and what they have to share is very important, and some that it wasn't successful because we have some parents or spouses that are on this, and that's what makes this task force unique. It's not just a governmental body task force, right? It's got our legislators on it as well, and county board supervisors. I could go on and on. So as you can see, it's all encompassing. So stay engaged in that, because we have some very specific action that we take. As we went through this last legislative cycle, we have given out tools to utilize for cities, letters, resolutions. We've actually taped people, victims, and videotaped them and had those testimonies ready for the hearings and sending them to committee members. So as you have a place, it gives you a place for people to connect with that feel like there's nothing that they can do in their neighborhoods, because we feel if we take care of the people that are, and they're treated right in these sober living homes, that the neighborhoods will be okay too. Right. We're not saying we don't, this task force does not say we don't want those homes in our
Right, like you said, we have 19 others that are great.
right.
Yeah.
So but what we say is if we can take good care, if we can aim to create legislation, policy, etc., that's very patient-centric, then we can fix this situation, we believe. So that's my answer, but I will let some of the folks that gave the legislative updates from the offices answer that for you as well. Go ahead.
Any potential opposition, have conversations with committee staff or even legislators. That's really helpful for us, just having that preparation going into the bill when it's moving through the process. So that's kind of one of the bigger things that come to mind.
Thank you. Anybody else?
So more to step. Well, we have a question from Hunter Griffiths in the Zoom.
Right. Not actually a question. I work for Assemblymember Diane Dixon's office. I just wanted to make sure that I introduce myself. I'm filling in for my colleague Janelle and wanted to give a legislative update if that's okay. I'm not sure if that was on the schedule. I just noticed we're starting to get into questions and I wanted to make sure I can include our update.
Oh, yes. Let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back and finish up the questions.
Okay, great. Thank you. I just wanted to let you guys know the Assembly member also passed a bill that she's very excited about that was signed into law earlier this month, and that is AB 1356, which would additionally require a facility to submit to the department within 30 days of the initial incident any relevant information that was not known at the time of the initial incident. So hopefully that will help drive some of the data concerns that we were talking about earlier. There's also two different bills, AB 3 and AB 877, that did not pass, but she will be reintroducing them in the next legislative session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for jumping in. Appreciate that. Okay, Connor, you have some additional answers to this.
I did. Thank you, Madam Chair. Hello, my name is Connor Medina. So I'm actually the Regional Public Affairs Manager for the Orange County Division of Cal City. So I do Cap Hill's job, but up here in OC. Thank you for driving all the way out here.
We booked the train.
Oh, well, very
Business class. Yeah.
There we go. And this comment is, from what I've seen in Orange County, right? We have been mobilized on this issue for a long time.
Yeah.
To where, when we're sending out our push for our members to weigh in on bills, we have some Orange County cities that are very minimally involved in this space, but they will still, put out the letters and put out pressure on their legislators we're blessed in Orange County to have legislators who get it. I think you share the same. I think you have Senator Blake Stewart, just like one with Dave.
We have some that get it and some.
Yeah. Like in your city, I think you have both of those who have been wonderful champions. But then broadly throughout the state, the problem that we've run into is in the legislature, a lot of the legislators don't get it. They don't hear from their cities as much. They're just not as active as they are in Orange County and just Southern California broadly. So I think it's also really important to not just have your city expressing what's going on in your city to your legislators, but getting the entire county involved, have those opportunities to talk with council members from other cities in your county.
And you can invite them here.
And invite them here. And just get that dialogue going, because Orange County has been very successful at getting all hands on deck in support, and it reflects with how our elected officials have been voting. But that's just something that we really needed to amplify beyond our, Southern California broadly, our bubble, and get more legislators to understand it. It's an ongoing challenge, and your city can help us in that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, any other questions? And welcome. I'm glad you came in.
Really quickly, if there's a chance.
Okay, hang on a second.
Okay, yeah, really quickly. I did have a quick question. Is your Senator Weber Pearson by chance from La Mesa?
Yes.
I was trying to look it up.
Okay, different.
Awesome.
Okay, so I was gonna say, that's really interesting. I'm hearing that she might be chair of the health committee with some of the chiefest leadership. I don't know, none of that's confirmed. She's been on health committee before. She's been a sympathetic voice on this issue and been very helpful in the past. But it would be great to have a city like yours engage with us and her office on this topic. Should she, move into that role, we would love to collaborate with you and have some more conversations with her on this specific issue. So I'm happy to talk with you offline about that and with Kat, but we'd love to do that.
I will send you and Catherine an email.
Great, thank you.
Okay, and please come on up to the table. I know there would never be three together, but that's okay. We're filling, we're at, we'll stay there. We're staff. You don't care? Welcome. Okay, how are we doing?
Okay. Posters be everyone send.
Any other legislative updates? Anything that anybody wants to share legislatively that's going on?
City of Santa Ana.
Please.
Successfully, our city council unanimously adopted home sober living ordinance that went into effect yesterday. We have about 74 suspected facilities in our
74,
of which we believe only 11 are licensed. And so we'll be moving forward with some proactive outreach to them to encourage them to learn more about the ordinance and how it may or may affect them.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you sharing. And I will share an interesting thing. I got a couple of the council members from Laguna Woods who do not have a sober living home issue that they're aware of. They adopted an ordinance in support of what I believe they did.
They did.
Did they? In support of what we're doing, because like your city, it's like, wait, we didn't know we needed that. And then all of a sudden something crops up, but they felt that it was important to be supportive to the other cities that are doing it. Because they, again, to the point that was made by Connor, that we're really coalescing as a county. And that we can pass along the things that we did to help you. And this isn't just a Orange County thing.
Right, it started here because it's
just where it started. So, but that's why it's called California Sober Living and Recovery. It's because we are getting people from all over. So thank you for being here and being active. Okay. Anything else, Lauren? Anything from your side? Because Lauren heads up the legislative side of our subcommittee. Okay. Well, I'm sure things get rolling here. So, okay. So to conclude for today's meeting, and we keep our meetings tight and to the point. I'd like to highlight one of our major successes of this task force, and all of your hard work, and really that growing public awareness and driving earned media. So if you are receiving updated communications from the task force, you may have even seen the recent article we shared from the Wall Street Journal and the Orange County Register. Please make sure we have a reporter who is very on top of this and communicates with us on a very regular basis to get updates on what's going on for the Orange County Register. Her name is Terry Sforza, and she may even be online listening.
I don't see her, but she'll
she'll watch the videos. We talked to her this week, as a matter of fact. So I think there's probably an article coming out, maybe this weekend. She usually comes out on the weekend. So these stories cover the issues we're raising. They highlight the work that we're doing with the task force, and even share information that we provide at our meetings by some of our amazing guest speakers, which we had a great speaker today. So the public awareness aspect of this effort is ultimately just as important as our advocacy and collaboration efforts. So we want to make sure we're continuing to build a case that lawmakers are compelled to support, and I think we'll continue to see this momentum. We did feel like we made some good steps this year, but there were some setbacks too. But that's the nature of legislation in Sacramento, and sometimes there's steps. What I do want to share too is I want us all to be communicating, because if you're hearing from HCD, please let the task force know through the staff members. Mission Viejo has heard from them. So San Jose has heard from them, and San Jose has been at one of our meetings in the past. When you pass an ordinance, you may hear from HCD. So we just want to be aware of that. So keep us in the loop on your housing, because this is something that we have all make sure our housing elements are intact, and we want to make sure that we protect that and we are doing the right thing. So let's communicate about that too as well. And so ask your staff members or for those of us that have, I know I've got some of mine on there, so I know, but just check in and just check on that. Has anybody recently passed this ordinance? That I haven't checked, but any other than Santa Ana? I know Irvine was working on it. Are you? Okay, keep it up. Keep going forward. So I do believe our strength lies in our collective voice, which is why I want to make sure we stick together on this, because the more of us that have that, the more powerful it is that have this ordinance. And that's why I mentioned in Good Woods, because that does give us all power to have more cities doing what Santa Ana just did. So with that, the meeting is concluded, but please stay and talk and chat, and we can connect and get people connected as needed, and emails, etc., so that you're in the loop. And I appreciate you taking the time to be here. It is Friday, and it is just before 3 o'clock, so you are going to get your afternoon back. So thank you, everybody. And introduce yourselves to each other so we can all know each other. Thank you.